Thank you for helping me to reach 1,000 likes and 100 comments in my previous recap. Today's video has no targets because another channel has uploaded episode 5 in more detail, and you can watch more plots there. So I hope you enjoy my recap version of episode 5 from the anime Reincarnated as a Sword. Shisho warned Fran, don't push herself if Fran is tired. Shisho didn't want Fran to be in a dangerous situation. Previously, Shisho and Fran had also bought teleport feathers to the city so they could escape if something was dangerous for a while. Even though they already have this item, Shisho still has to care for Fran so she can focus on fighting. Shisho also said that Fran had already begun to understand each monster's stone core place, so Shisho didn't have to do it alone anymore. Then Shisho advised Fran to aim for the core stones of the high-level goblins only because they had to divide these monsters equally for the adventures. After the core stone is taken from goblins, the corpses will save in dimensional storage, so the other adventurers won't be suspicious of Shisho's identity. Next, Shisho started using a special skill called split thinking to analyze abilities in more detail. Afterward, they started killing high-level goblins and absorbing their abilities. This dungeon was completely filled with goblins. Even they heavily guarded each passage. Then Fran and Shisho followed this hallway's direction and found the goblins again. Shisho will use his magic by targeting several high-level goblins to speed up the exploration of this dungeon passage. Shisho had taught Fran the split thinking ability, but unfortunately, this skill had side effects for humans. So Shisho decided to use this ability alone because there were no side effects to an inanimate object like this sword. Afterward, they explored the dungeon hall again, and Shisho started using his area identification skill to search for the goblins here. After finding 2 goblins, it turned out that they were running away to gather with the Goblin King and Queen. Fran was about to attack them, but Shisho said there were too many goblins around the King and Queen. So Shisho suggests Fran attack the King and Queen after Shisho uses his magic power on the goblins around them. Then Fran agreed with Shisho's suggestion and started doing this plan. Shisho's abilities were too strong, so all the goblins died instantly, and Shisho didn't know why they were too weak like this. Fran was crying because Shisho didn't distribute the attack rations, even though Fran wanted to fight the Goblin King. Shisho apologized to Fran, but well, Fran was still crying. Then the remaining goblins ran away from Fran, but Shisho didn't allow Fran to follow these goblins because the adventurers also needed the materials from this dungeon. While exploring the dungeon passage, Shisho said that Fran could defeat the dungeon master later so Fran didn't have to cry. Then they find an unlocked door. When they entered the room, they saw this room contained countless insects. Shisho identified them, and they had a small level. This is Fran's chance to level up quickly because she will kill many insects. Shisho was surprised that these insects had not diminished at all. Then Shisho realized that there was an insect queen with a summoning ability. Because Fran was satisfied with increasing her level, Shisho ordered Fran to use magic to kill the insect queen. After that, there was another door in this passage, and suddenly Shisho and Fran felt a very dangerous aura here. Shisho again warned Fran to teleport to the city when the situation got too dangerous. Then Fran calmed Shisho down because whoever the opponent was, Fran and Shisho would be able to beat him. Then Shisho promised to cook delicious food for Fran if she managed to defeat the monster inside this door. Shisho also gives a lot of buffs to Fran, ranging from magic and physical defense, attack power, speed, agility, etc.
そしてリジェネレーション
固体面フランの傷が
身体能力強化のフィジカルブースト反応や感覚を鋭くするセンシズブースト
の状態異常耐性値が一時的に上昇します。
After that, they entered the door, and there was a demon monster that was a dungeon boss named Greater Demon. Shisho immediately identified the Greater Demon status. He was surprised because the Greater Demon status was very high and he possessed various abilities that Shisho didn't know about. It was likely that the boss of this dungeon had a B rank level and Fran had to be careful against it. If Greater Demon got out of here, he could destroy a nation instantly. On the other hand, there was also a dungeon master who ordered the Greater Demon to immediately kill this weak Fran. Fran had messed up many goblin armies and destroyed the dungeon master's plans to create a goblin empire.
固体面師匠が魔力500を伝導させました。
おお、いい剣じゃねえか。
魔力をまとわせて攻撃力1000を超えてる。
Greater Demon was extremely powerful, making it difficult for Fran to attack him. The Greater Demon was amazed that a kid like Fran could match his strength, so Greater Demon would be more serious about fighting Fran with his abilities.
そうこなくちゃな。どんどん行くぜ。さっさとそいつを始末しろ。 ごちゃごちゃうるせえな。分割思考。畜生。ファイヤーウォール。なんだかよくわからねえが、あそこから防ぐターやるじゃねえ。念動。グレーターヒール。
Shisho did not expect the Greater Demon had this kind of teleportability. But Shisho didn't find this skill on the Greater Demon after analyzing his status earlier. Then Shisho started to think about how the Greater Demon did it. The Greater Demon continued to attack Fran relentlessly. After Shisho learned of some of the Greater Demon's moves, Shisho realized that the Greater Demon used Fran's shadow for its teleportation medium. So Shisho immediately uses the demonic poison ability, and Fran must slash it to the Greater Demon directly.
俺の状態異常耐性をぶち抜いて毒を与えてきたのか。ダークネスブラスター。
Even though Shisho and Fran already knew how to attack the Greater Demon, unfortunately, he still couldn't be defeated. Shisho felt this was a bad situation, as they couldn't use combination attacks like when fighting regular monsters. But Fran was still trying to fight the Greater Demon because she wanted to eat Shisho's delicious food.
体さばきと剣術スキルはてめえの方が上のようだな。
Even the Greater Demon underestimated Fran because her attacks were so weak. Greater Demon acknowledged that Fran's sword skills and techniques were excellent, so he wanted to take Fran's sword skills with his demonic power. After the Greater Demon managed to take Fran's sword skills, Shisho and Fran didn't feel any side effects. Then the Greater Demon threatened Fran that this time she would die because the Greater Demon already had Fran's sword skills.
大立ちのまま死ね。てめえは俺と戦う力を失ったってわけだ。
On the other hand, the adventurers explored the dungeon that had been cleared by Fran and Shisho. The adventurers got quite a lot of low-level goblins, and they had to quickly catch up with Fran because they were worried about her body condition. When they arrived at the insect Fran and Shisho defeated earlier, it turned out that the door was locked and they had to find another way to get to the deepest part of the dungeon.
何か予想外の事態が起こらなければ。
フランちゃん